Hey, what's going on, guys? Coach Jack here. Today I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about a snowboard progression going from a backside single cork 720 to a backside double cork 1080. These two tricks are very similar if we break them down into the four categories of learning a new trick, which are approach, takeoff, maneuver, and landing. The approach and takeoff are going to be almost identical. The maneuver is going to be a little bit different as you're going to hang on for two cork rotations rather than one. And the landing should feel very similar. When I'm warming up my backside double cork 1080, I like to do a single cork 720 first, just to get the feel, and then I'm ready to go. So I've got some videos of me doing the 720 and then me doing the 1080 from this last winter, and I'll give you some pointers on what I'm thinking about when I'm going into that double 10. So here's a video of my backside 720 at Woodward. Going into the melon grab on the 720, that's my grab of choice. I think mute grab may be the easiest to get started. And here I am going into the double 1080, and same melon grab, just hanging on for two cork rotations. Again, the mute grab is probably the easiest to keep your shoulders in line. Now we'll break down the approach. So I'm coming in heel edges here. And just as I come into the belly of the transition, that's the point where the jump starts to go up, I'm initiating my windup and transitioning on my toe onto my toe edge right as I start to come off the lip. So right about here, I'm looking for a nice stacked position. That means my body and everything is upright, perfectly perpendicular to the slope of the takeoff. That's going to ensure a nice proper takeoff. You don't want to be leaning too far over on the toe edge. That way you'll be leaning on the landing. So if you're not landing it, it's probably an issue right here on the takeoff. And as I come off the lip, I want my tail toe edge right here to be the last thing that leaves the lip. Also, as I unleash all that rotation, I'm looking around my back shoulder as I begin to try and spot this trick. So once we've taken off and unloaded all of that windup, coming around into 270 and reaching for that grab, I'm now spotting my landing. For the rest of this rotation on the 720 and the 1080, I'll be able to see that landing the whole time. That's the beauty of this back 7 and back double 10. So as I come around in the grab, poking it into the heart of the cork, I'm still looking right there at the landing, and bring it around, opening up at about 630 to put that landing gear on, and that cork rotation should bring you right to flat base and then toes afterwards. Landing on your heel edge can encourage you to butt check. That's why you want to try to take it all the way to the toes. Now on the double cork 1080, very similar takeoff, wind up on as I start to initiate that toe engagement, coming onto my toes, and just as I take off, you can see here I do have a little bit more inclination over my tail. So rather than being perfectly perpendicular, I'm actually throwing my head over my toe edge. This may be a little early. I would prefer to have done this later, but it still worked out in the end. The difference that giving a little more head over the tail as you take off makes is it will put you into a bit of a greater cork rotation. So as you can see, coming into that 270, I'm much more inverted than I was on the 720. That's going to help the double cork come around, and is a little bit easier to do to complete that double 1080. But again here, looking right there at the landing as I come around to 270, and now I'm spotting that landing the whole time. Coming around to backside 540, still looking at the landing, and going into the double as I go backside 5 to cab underflip, I still have that same spot, and you can watch me spot the whole way around. And then in slow motion, you can see grabbing the melon grab, spotting twice, bringing it around, and putting it down just like I did on that 720. Now taking it to the next level, we can watch as Red Gerard does his backside triple cork 1440. Same concept as the double 10. Again, transitioning onto his toe edge as he starts to unleash the windup, going up the lip, and he's taking off right there. You can see last bit of his board, tail toe edge coming off of the landing, and he is also looking around his back shoulder. And he goes into it, grabbing right there, mute grab this time, good example, at 270 in that cork rotation. From here, he's going to spot this, again, the whole time. Watch his head. Comes around one cork, comes around two corks. What do you know? Still spotting. Comes around three corks. Yep, still spotting. And he puts that board down. Red likes to go tail first, but you can see here, toe edge engagement right there on the landing to ensure that he stomps it and doesn't over-rotate. And here he is at speed.
Fourth place, Red Gerard, backside, triple cork, 1440 to backside shifty.
So that's a little bit of technique that I use when I'm performing that backside double cork 1080. And like I said, always go for the 720 first if it feels really good and you're really confident with that double cork rotation on trampolines. It could be time to put it to snow. So focus on a nice clean takeoff, taking off on the tail toe edge of your board in a nice stacked stance. Throwing your head over the tail of your board just as you take off for the double cork will ensure that it dips twice instead of spinning out flat. If it's too flat, sometimes it wants to go to 12 instead of 10. But mainly, you do that backside initiation 270, and in the cab double underflip rotation, you can spot the landing the whole time. So this is a pretty safe double to learn and can be really consistent. If you see some of the top pros, they're doing the backside double 1080 and the backside triple 1440 very consistently because they can spot it the whole time, and the cork rotation brings you right around to a flat base. So get out there and give it a try if you're feeling ready.